Hello YouTube, this is ChardarYuGiOh, and today we are playing more Dragoon Eldlich on YGO Omega. I think my my current plan until I start working full time again is to record one duel for each day of the week, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends get content from locals, either deck profiles if they're interesting or box openings. So if you have decks that you would like to see me play, leave a comment, message me, just let me know. Opponent is going first. Our hand is pretty solid. Not sure what our opponent is thinking on. Alright, looks like our opponent's playing Dragon Link. I don't know if one Ash is going to do much against this deck, but we will see. Oh god, opponent has Black Metal, Striker Dragon, and Noctivision, so just about everything. So if our opponent is going to go all in and set up a massive board of Heretic Seal, Appaloosa, Savage Dragon, we almost certainly can't play through that. If our opponent just goes Heretic Seal, Dragon Maid Tidying, that we should be able to beat. Looks like they are not. Summons Romulus. Searches, draws. I'm not sure when the best time to Ash this deck would be. I'm thinking right now it's going to be LP, but our opponent already has the Red Eyes in hand. If this were a Nibiru, we'd be in much better shape than we are. Opponents back to thinking. I'm wondering if they just don't know this deck very well, which is fair. I also don't know that deck very well. Activates Ravine. Dumps Seifert to mill Router. Alright. They just search for Rocket Synchron. Opponent activates Reasoning. Alright, that's a new one. What do we call? 7-4 7-1. Feel like between Noctivision and this would be 4 or 7. Let's go with 4 because we don't want our opponent to hit a Rocket Tracer. Hit Rocket Recharger, goes to grave. That worked out for us. For opponents only playing one of these, we made their Tracer much worse too. Activate Boot Sector. Gonna special from hand. Are these decks playing Reasoning now? I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Summons Tracer. Sure. Do we Ash this? Our opponent can summon an LB. Do they have another extender? We already know that they have they have Red MD in hand. Yeah, I'm gonna try Ashing this. Try to keep them off Savage. Because we don't care about Appaloosa. And if we get Dragoon on the board, we can negate the spheres. So I think Savage negating Red Eye's Fusion is what we're most afraid of. Still can't get over this reasoning. Like, does this deck not have enough extenders? Opponent summons another Striker Dragon. Summons Rocket Synchron. Don't very often see Romulus' second effect getting used. Summons Red Eye's Darkness Metal. I feel like they should have used the Synchron for that. So this gives them an arrow here. Opens up this zone. Cannot be used as link material. So if they banish Synchron and still had Striker, they can reborn one of their little dragons and then summon a guard dragon here, right? Alright, gets back Tracer. Summons Needle Fiber. Really, really wishing we had a Nibiru. Gets another Synchron. Sure. So our opponent gonna go Appaloosa Elpie? If they do that, they can't get spheres. Unchained Abomination. Our opponent's playing a very interesting build of Dragon Link. I don't think it's bad at all. Summons Elpie. I feel like Appaloosa has to be better than this. Effective Elpie. Because, like, if we obviously we don't, but if we still had a Nibiru, can get our opponent with that. Gets Brotar. Effective Brotar. Gets Levianeer. Opponent has a Nibiru. So our opponent rips a card from our hand. We would like to keep Red Eye's Fusion and Torrential. We don't really care about the other two. Like having them is nice. Obviously, we're a resource-based deck, but I think these two are far more important. Yep, 3 dark. Opponent hit Elixir. Well, that card was completely dead anyway, so that went about as well as it could have gone. Gets Pisty. Not sure what our opponent can end on, though. Like, if this were an Appaloosa, I think they'd be in better shape. And they banished Absa-Router. So I think what they could have done is, can this bring back any level? So this could have brought back Absa-Router or Knock Division, and then they make Warlord Savage with that. Who knows? Our opponent's playing some different cards. Our opponent gets Collapse Serpent, so they might still be able to surprise us with something. But I'm feeling better than I did when this turn started. Summons Collapse Serpent. Opponent has also spent 10.5 minutes on their turn. Gets the third Striker Dragon, trigger Collapse Serpent. Effect of Striker Dragon. Blows up Pisty, grabs back. I think Recharger. Grabs back the Noctivision. Alright, so this is the play I was thinking about. And then this, I believe, just beats us. If they negate Red Eyes Fusion. Their turn, they can probably just go to battle and attack without even summoning anything else. Or if they do summon something else, negate the Torrential. So I think how we can still win this is draw a second Torrential and then our opponent plays into it. That it's possible. Opponent only has a minute left on their clock. Like, their turn has to be fairly close to over, or they're just going to time themselves out. So everyone think of reasoning in this deck. I feel like there's got to be more consistent extenders you can play. Summons a Savage. Yep, knew that was coming. Equips Needle Fiber, gives him 2 negates. And just passes? I mean, I don't think draw back the White Destiny. That's not what we want to see. Like, I don't think we beat the Savage, but there has to be something more our opponent could have done here. Well, we're going to try it. Hope our opponent doesn't negate. Alright, opponent negates it, and then that is the game. Probably an argument for just scooping there and not showing our opponent what we're playing. But I feel like our opponent's not going to side too differently if they know they're going second. Whoops. We definitely want to keep Scarlet. So go down hand traps, bring in back row, run it like that. I always wonder why players take as long to side as they do. If you're playing a deck, you should, as you're building the deck, have a relatively concise side decking plan for the matchups you expect. Eldlich isn't super popular right now, but it's definitely a deck to be aware of. And in side decking, you can pretty commonly just lump Eldlich in with back row deck, and you're going to have the same thing. You're either going to play Cosmics or Reboots or Twin Twisters, Lightning Storms, Feather Dusters, depending on your deck and what it's soft to. Right now, I think Cosmic Cyclone is probably the best of those options, but should not take a minute and a half to side deck. Our opponent either assumes we're playing Eldlich or Guru because they saw Red Eyes Fusion, or they just have not, or they just don't side because they don't know. We're going to lead on Insight, dump Wyvern. Looks like our opponent does have an Ash. The correct thing is to Ash the Fusion and not the Insight. But our opponent seems to be thinking on that decision. This hand is not amazing. We get opponent Ashes Insight. Alright, don't ever do that because then you get hit with this and it's a major feel bad. Dump Rise Black Dragon and Dark Magician. Set a Haquero, and so now we have one monster that our opponent can relatively easily attack over, and one negate. If we survive the turn and our Eldlich cards start going off, we can grind. Yeah, we are very okay with this. So our opponent did bring in back row removal. And now I need to hope our one negate 4,000 attack monster is enough. So our opponent used two cards that didn't do anything to stop our plan. If our opponent outs the Dragoon and survives, and we survive, we can bring it back with a Wyvern at the end of our turn, but then our opponent just attacks over it again, most likely. Opponent's thinking. I think our best case scenario is they just don't see a line to out the Dragoon and scoop. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Opponent summons Cypher. If they banish this, tempted to use our negate there. No, we'll wait until we see something that threatens our Dragoon. Gets Collapse Serpent, sure. Summon Collapse Serpent. Striker Dragon. Both of these are fine. Gets Boot Sector. Gets White Dragon. Also tempted to negate Romulus, because then our opponent needs two extenders to do anything? So we negate Romulus. Opponent's already used both the baby dragons. And, oh, opponent doesn't use Romulus, just activates Quick Launch. We'll let that go. Alright, so opponent plays around negating Romulus, which suggests that would have been a good negate. Another spot that might be decent to negate is the Borreload Savage Dragon effect when it goes to equip itself. So then this goes to 4,000, and I'm not sure if our opponent has a monster big enough to get over 4,000. Opponent gets Tracer. Summons Router. Summons Boral Sword. Router effect is activated. Gets Rocket Recharger. Activate Boot Sector. Sure. Summon Recharger from hand. Summons another Striker Dragon. Target itself. Get back. Recharger. Gonna use the effective Recharger. Sure. Summons back Tracer. Goes to battle. Declares attack. Hits us for 19. Switches Tracer to defense. Another 3,000. Tracer, target Boot Sector. Gets Silver Rocket. Hits us for another 19. Alright, we're very low on life. Gets a Savage Dragon. Gets Romulus. End phase, we will Haquero. Opponent's gonna negate. Ice Dragon's Prison. That is not the worst. Set 2. End phase. Get back Dragoon. Our opponent negates it. Opponent is out of negates on Savage. Draws a card. Just goes to battle. Switches the Savage to defense. And we lose. Why can we not activate the Ice Dragon's Prison? Oh, well, I don't think we are coming back from that anyway.